Last time I visited my in-laws' place, this is in a village close to Visakhapatnam. My mother-in-law made this absolutely delicious prawn pulao, guys. This is made with simple spices and curry leaves, no mint leaves, no coriander leaves, but the depth of flavor is amazing. I am so excited to share this recipe with you. Let's make this together. At the very end of the video, I'm going to share some important tips by which your pulao is going to turn out perfect. Here I have 500 grams of rice. This is called Jeerakasala rice, also called Chitti Mutyalu Rice in Telugu. First, we are going to thoroughly wash the rice and then we are going to drain off as much water as possible. The reason we are doing this is we want to dry the rice after washing it. The way we'll do it is to take an absorbent cloth on a tray, spread the rice on it and then place the rice under the fan so that it dries out completely. Alternatively, if you are okay not washing your rice, you can totally use unwashed rice. It's up to you. Okay, this goes under the fan. Next, this is 500 grams of prawns that has been deveined and cleaned already. Make sure that the quantity of rice and the quantity of prawns is the same. Into this goes half a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of turmeric powder. Give it a good mix and set that aside. Next, let's make the garam masala for the pulao. So into a grinder jar goes 3 inches of cinnamon sticks, 2 star anise, approximately 12 green cardamoms, 2 small bay leaves or 1 large bay leaf, just break it and throw it in, half a mace or javitri, half a nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of black peppercorns, 1 teaspoon of coriander seeds, 1 teaspoon of poppy seeds, 10 to 12 cloves, dried red chillies to taste, I'm adding 2, and 5 cashew nuts. We are going to grind all of this into a coarse powder and this is going to give your biryani such an awesome aroma. That's it, it should look like that. Our rice should have dried by now. Yes, it looks completely dry. It's very important to completely dry it and now I'm going to transfer it back into the bowl. To the rice, we are going to add half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of freshly crushed ginger and garlic, and half of the dry masala powder that we made. We're going to thoroughly mix all the spices with the rice grains. I tried doing this with a spatula. It doesn't work that well. Use your fingers, guys, and let the rice be coated with all those masalas. We're also going to be adding 2 tablespoons of any neutral cooking oil or melted ghee so that the masalas stick well to the grains of rice. Alright, let's set that aside and now it's time to fry the prawns. Let's take a wide pan or a biryani handi and add 4 tablespoons of oil to it. We want to make sure that the oil is heated up well before adding the prawns. If not, the prawns are going to ooze a lot of liquid and this is going to turn into prawn gravy. It's going to take less than 1 or 2 minutes for the prawns to turn opaque and orangish in color. At this point, we are going to take them out into a bowl and set them aside. Into the same pan goes in 2 tablespoons of ghee. Once the ghee is melted, add in half a teaspoon of cumin seeds. We'll also add in 4 to 5 dried red chillies and guys, break them and add it in. This pulao is a little hot. Next, add in 1 sprig of curry leaves and give that a quick stir. Next, we're going to add in 150 grams of thinly sliced onion along with 1 tablespoon of freshly crushed ginger and garlic. Sprinkle a little bit salt so the onions cook faster. We want to stir fry the onions for about 2 to 3 minutes or until the onions turn translucent. You don't have to turn them golden brown or crisp. Next goes in the prawns that we had stir fried and we are also going to add in the remaining garam masala powder from the grinder jar. We are going to stir fry all of this for approximately 2 to 3 minutes. And while I'm doing that, I realized that this pan is a bit too small for the pulao rice. So I'm going to transfer everything to a bigger pot. Guys, don't do what I did. Start with a bigger biryani handi. Okay, anyway, let's taste the masala and now add in a little more red chili powder if you like hot food like I do. And now it's time to add in the marinated rice. Guys, this is one of the most important steps in making this pulao really flavorful. We want to stir fry the prawns along with the rice for at least 10 minutes. Stir frying it for 10 minutes, make sure that the rice grains don't stick to each other, and also remember we added ginger garlic paste to the rice. That also cooks through and the raw smell disappears. Next, we're going to add in water as needed. Usually the quantity of water is double the quantity of the rice, plus add in 1 more cup of water because we have a lot of prawns in there. Next, add in half a lime juice. Lime juice also prevents the rice grains from sticking to each other. The next important thing is to make sure that the pulao has enough salt. The easiest and the best way to do this is to taste this water. Add in salt a little bit at a time. We don't want it too much, we don't want it too little. I added approximately 1 tablespoon of salt here, but remember we had also added salt to the prawns as well as to the rice before. That's it. We are going to set the heat on medium-high and let it cook for 10 minutes. Make sure to close the vent of the lid. I like to do that with a clove. After medium-high heat for 10 minutes, reduce it to low heat for another 10 minutes. And when all the water is seemingly absorbed, take off the lid. And now we're going to carefully turn the rice over from the bottom to the top. The reason why I do this is that we worked so hard, and the last thing we want to do is have the biryani rice burn on the bottom. It's also a good time to sprinkle a little bit water if the rice seems too dry. Then place the lid back on and let the rice cook through on low heat. It should take approximately 10 to 15 minutes. Guys, these are small grained rice, so if you mix the rice midway, they are not going to break. Don't worry, your biryani is going to turn out perfect. It's not going to be burnt on the bottom. And guys, my kitchen smells so good. I wish you were here. And my mother-in-law served this with a simple raita that they also call kachamri. It's easy, just 1 cup of yogurt, some finely chopped onions, green chillies, a little bit lime juice if the yogurt is not sour enough, some salt, and mix it together. If the yogurt seems too thick, you can thin it out with a little bit of water. Normally the consistency of this raita is a little on the thinner side. And this simple raita along with the pulao, guys, just perfect combination. I can't wait for you all to taste this. Okay, let's move on to some important tips. First of all, the kind of rice we use for this pulao are short-grained rice with a neutral flavor. Long-grained basmati rice is not used for this pulao because the smell of basmati rice interferes with the smell of the masalas. You can either use Jeerakasala or Siraga Samba, also Sona Masuri rice. The next important tip is make sure that the rice is completely dry before you add in all the spices to the rice. I have made this using rice that was just washed and wet. The pulao just doesn't turn out that flavorful. Also, the texture of the pulao doesn't turn out that good. So dry it completely. Next, the kind of oil they use for the pulao is usually gingerly oil or sesame oil, but you could also use a neutral flavored oil. The pulao does turn out good either way. And the last point is, when you stir fry the rice with the pulao, make sure to do it for 10 minutes, guys. This gives the pulao a wonderful flavor and that non-sticky texture. Alright guys, that's it for this week. Bye-bye.